Hello again, it's Garson, and this is mostly an Abjuration Wizard, but a Battle Mage. So real quick, let's actually demonstrate it, what it actually does. Shillelagh and Polearm Mastery, that means we can attack with Booming Blade and attack with a bonus action. And then what we're going to do is short rest. We actually get our arcane word stacks up. Let's get them even higher with a sorcery spell called Armor of Agathis. There we go. Now we have almost max stacks. We have temporary HP, and if anybody hits us, they're going to take tons of damage. And let's make it even crazier, because we are a battle mage. We're going to attack a lot with haste and booming blade. Cut. There we go. Alright, so I can go again, booming blade. That's 2 attacks. And you know what? I'm causing reverb. I knock people down. And now I can actually hit them with Polearm Mastery bonus attack. So I almost killed him right there. It's okay if they attack me. Come on. Come get me. Come get revenge. I assure you, you don't want to hit me. Oh, Booming Blade got him. Didn't matter. What about you, Aronson? Well, Polearm Mastery lets me attack if they get near as a reaction. So do a little reverb to him. He hits me, he takes damage, I take no damage. And no damage. But he took 30 damage. I still get to keep my temporary HP, which means if he hits me, he's going to get popped. But he's not going to hit me because I'm going to whap him first. And if I wanted to, I could pop off a really dangerous chain lightning or whatnot, because I have even more arcane acuity stats. So let's actually use this while we got it for a second. I'm going to come over here. I'm going to cast my free spell, level 6 Zappy Zap. So pretty reliable 95 Zappy right there. There you go. So let me actually break it down for you. I'm going to roll this back real quick. I'll pop out some notes. We'll dive right into it. So big thank you guys watching and requesting. In fact, this whole point of Abjuration and running it in honor mode was you guys. You guys wanted to see it, specifically Olio Rogue. But you guys wanted to see it, especially with the new Polearm Mastery. So he mixed the two ideas, the two requests together. Polearm Mastery did get a nice little hot fix. So let's talk about it and break down what this is all about, so you can actually understand it, maybe play something similar and try it out for yourself. So there is Abjuration, a couple of level 1 dips, and the Polearm Mastery, and then we'll get into some build time. But let's start with Abjuration real quick. All right. So basically, Abjuration, level 2 wizard subclass, right? And the big thing about it is at level 2, you get this ability, Arcane Ward, which is the whole crux of what we're going to do with wizard. So it's an Abjuration spells will give you wards per spell level. So let me actually pull up the ability right here. You can read it. But essentially, every time I use a leveled spell, so I can't use a cantrip, but anytime that's an Abjuration spell that's got a little level to it, even if I upcast it, I'm going to get that many ward, which negates damage per stack. Okay, so let's look at it this way. I have 2 stacks right now, and you saw earlier I had 18 stacks in the demo. I took 6 damage, which is less than 18, so I actually took no damage, right? So if you stack this more and more, you potentially negate all damage, which is crazy because, well, especially with something like Armor of Agathis, they're going to take damage and you're not going to. But when you use this ability, it's going to lose one of these stacks. So again, if this 2 was, I took damage, it would -2 damage after any mitigation, like resistances or first conduit always come first, but then this will apply after it. That's what makes it really stupid, actually. Resistance will apply before this. So then this gets applied, and then I use this, so now it will go down to 1 stack, which means I still have a stack to use, but it's obviously weaker now. But the thing is, max stacks are equivalent to your wizard level. So the more you invest into wizard, the more powerful this ability can really reach and achieve, right? So right now I'm a level 10 wizard. That means the maximum stacks I could reach is 20, right? So a max wizard of Abjuration would reach 24 stacks, but I assure you it's a little too much. 20 is pretty good already. All right, so we know how to get the max amount. Long rest actually starts us off with our wizard level in stacks, right? So we would start with half of our maximum every long rest period, and then like I said, we would need some certain Abjuration spells like Mage Armor, or maybe Glyph of Warding, or Armor of Agathis. So what spells actually add to this? Well, first off, just so you know, you could also use this as a reaction. I didn't play like this, but it's pretty interesting to note. You could have played something where if you use your reaction at level 6, you actually get the ability to give the ward to an ally, but you will use your reaction point, and like I said, you will lose a stack for using this, right? And then at level 10, something I really like, but I didn't get to use a lot of because my level 10 wizard was level 12 overall, but on short rest, you'll get your stacks equal to your wizard level, similar to long resting, right? So that's another way to get your stacks back, but obviously the best way is to get leveled spells and possibly upcast them. So a really interesting note is maybe the best use for a pure Abjuration Wizard is upcasting Mage Armor. As dumb as that sounds, you don't get any benefit for doing it, except that you will get 6 stacks of Arcane Ward when you're starting your day out casting Mage Armor. Pretty expensive for Mage Armor, right? Gotta be a better way. So Good and Evil is also a very underrated spell. This is great for being avoiding being charmed or frightened, especially against fiends, undead, and all sorts of stuff. Very underrated. There is the Glyph of Warding. This is great for leaving a zone. But again, all of these don't really get a benefit of upcasting, do they? So we are getting Arcane Ward stacks for all of this. Arcane Lock, another great job. Great spell for locking doors, controlling battlefields. Globe of Wind, Globe of Invulnerability. Level 6, pretty good value. But when are you really going to whip this out? A specific time. So maybe not the best, right? So Armor of Agathis. This is a spell, like we said, that gives you temporary HP and cold damage to attackers. And it doesn't start out very strong, but it is upcastable. Now we're up to 15 temp, 15 damage, and all the way up to 30 temporary, 30 damage, right? And this will last all day as long as you keep your temporary HP. So that's great value because it's giving us arcane ward stacks as well as a defensive benefit and even an offensive benefit against attackers. So this really is the best spell. And ironically, wizards, especially Abjuration Wizards, they should be able to learn everything, right? But they don't learn this spell. It comes from sorcery, actually. Specifically, Draconic White Dragon Sorcery. So we're going to need a level 1 dip. We're going to go into Sorcery 1 and get Armor of Agathis using Draconic Sorcery. Choose the White Dragon, and you will get this unique spell, Armor of Agathis, right? And so again, Armor of Agathis counts because it's a leveled abjuration spell. It's great because it's upcastable and actually has a benefit to upcasting it, not just the arcane ward stacks. We'll get more temp HP the more we can upcast it, and more damage when we get hit. If we get hit, probably won't take damage, and they will. So first character level also means that our constitution proficiency will become that much better. All right, so being a level 1 wizard first gives us that nice concentration bonus. So it's something to note for being a sorcerer anyway. And then a level 1 dip in druid is something I went with because I get shillelagh. I want to be a battle mage. I want to use my staff with my intelligence, but I want to beat people over the head with it, especially with patch 8, the booming blade, right? I love booming blade. But the medium armor also comes with it, and if your racial doesn't have shields, you would also get the benefit of shields. So Gale here already gets it for being a human, but just something to note. And I do have guidance. For a level 1 dip, wizards don't have guidance, right? So that's excellent. Long Strider can just be my 1 druid spell, since I'm not going to use anything attacking, right? And then also Nature Cleric does work if you don't want to use druid. Just something really unique to note. There's different benefits to it, but say you wanted to use Sanctuary or Bless or something wizards also don't get, you can go Nature Cleric and get Shillelagh for 1 level of your Cleric, right? So I went with Druid though, and we know what we get with that, and now we can move on to Polearm Mastery. So Polearm Mastery does work with quarterstaves, and you don't have to two-hand, which means you do get the benefit of using shields, right? So there comes in the other benefits of Druid. So I'm going to use Shillelagh from Druid, but if I take Wizard as my last level out of this multi-class, my last new class in the multi-class, that means Shillelagh is not going to work off Wisdom. It's going to work off Intelligence. So it's really important because I'm going to use Polearm Mastery to attack and get a bonus action attack. And now in patch 8, thanks to the hotfix, the bonus action attack now actually applies really important damage bonuses like Arcane Synergy, or the Intelligence is the accuracy of the bonus attack. And since I'm doing thunder damage, being added in from the Drake Throat buff. See, I got this little thunder damage added to the weapon. That means this is now added to the Polearm Mastery attack, and therefore I can use reverb and thunder acuity and so much more. So this is now working. So now when I attack with my staff, I get my bonus action attack. And that's already cool in and of itself because I'm not a fighter or a paladin. I don't get extra attack, and this makes me feel like I have extra attack. And that extra attack still wouldn't be worth it if you couldn't do something with it. Thus, the hot fix now gives us the ability to apply more damage modifiers to it. So it really makes me feel like I'm a fighter or have extra attack. And in this action economy, you want to get all the hits in you can, right? So let's get to build time, Tim. Let's do it. This is Gale with the Abjuration. I do this because I just ran this in honor mode. This is a reference for me as well as you. Hopefully the breakdown gave you an understanding what this build does and how it all works together. Okay, so Abjuration Battle Mage, how does it work? It's one level of Sorcerer first, then it's Druid next, and then finally you take your Wizard level, so that way you're using Intelligence. And the stats very much specifically need to look like this when you start the character. We're going to dump Strength and Charisma to peak out at 17 Intelligence. Dexterity is important for a lot of reasons, Constitution too, and you really don't want to drop Wisdom. If you could drop any of these three right here, you don't want to drop Wisdom. All right, so feats, I really wanted Polearm Mastery, so thankfully with the multiclass, I'm able to get Shillelagh, and by level 5, I get Polearm Mastery, and like I said, this is going to make me feel like I have extra attack at level 5, the same time a fighter or a paladin would have it. So, bonuses, there's very specific bonuses. This is one of those multiclasses. You do need the Hag Hair, in my opinion. So the Hag Hair is going to give us Intelligence. One character per run gets to have this, especially in honor mode. So 17 Intelligence, it's almost like we got away with a free feat by starting with 17 and stealing this from the Hag. Next up, we have Everlasting Vigor. So I personally, you don't need this, but I personally just don't like 8 strength. So 10 strength gives me more jumping and pushing bonuses and all that stuff. Then there's also the Mirror Intelligence. This is not necessary, but in my playthrough, we ended up with 22 intelligence thanks to the Sharn Mirror. If you know how to use this, you can get even more out of your character. So equipment, let's just explain what all this is really doing. Thunder Acuity gives me the Battle Mage, right? When I whack people in the face with my weapon, I can get Thunder Acuity or Arcane Acuity, which is going to increase my accuracy on my spells, DC, and spell attack, right? So I can hit very powerful chain lightnings as long as I keep hitting people a lot with Booming Blade and the thunder damage that comes with it. So when I attack, I get spell accuracy with the little caveat that I do need to be doing thunder damage to be activating Arcane Acuity. Okay, so Thunder Cloak. If I have reverb, which I'm going to be applying reverb to opponents, if they have reverb and they try to attack me, I could potentially be dazed. It's really nice. Again, the whole idea of Abjuration in this build is to punish attackers and de-incentivize them to attacking my wizard. We have Agility Armor. Let's just keep it super simple. This is one of the best armors in the game for the base armor class and the benefits you get from Dexterity, plus the saving throw bonuses. Then there's the Belligerent Skies and Stormy Clamor Boots. This is an amazing combo. It's very typical for doing reverb when you apply reverb from any kind of thunder, lightning, or radiant damage. So obviously I'm going to slap thunder damage on my weapon, or I would grab something like Cacophony right over here that already has thunder damage. Highly recommend Cacophony in the early game, right? So when I do thunder damage, you would think Booming Blade would activate this, but it doesn't. So again, you really need the weapon to already be doing thunder damage. And when you are hitting every single time with thunder damage, you're getting a lot of reverb, which could potentially knock someone down, prone, making them easier to, gang up and jump them. Plus, dexterity saving throw spells can really chew people up when they have reverb. So it's a really amazing combo, especially with Spiteful Thunder. If they don't fall prone, they have a chance to become dazed, which is also another powerful condition. And so there's just slapping on the reverb effects, right? And then there's also Arcane Synergy. So Arcane Synergy really buffs out our Shillelagh combo. Shillelagh is already turning our staff into an intelligence weapon, and Arcane Synergy is adding that much more damage from intelligence to those weapon attacks. And the same thing with Elemental Augmentation. Now our intelligence bonus becomes more powerful whenever we use cantrips like Shocking Grasp or Firebolt. So this is also getting that +5 damage bonus. You're really feeling like a wizard or a battle mage throwing out your cantrips, doing that much more. Then there's the Marco Heshkir, or like I said, for weapon, I would start with the Cacophony. Once you have this, it already has some base thunder damage. But later on, you can use just about any staff. You have to use a staff, but you can use a staff as long as you have the Drake Throat. So the Drake Throat is really important because it's what allowed me to put thunder damage on the Marco Heshkir. And then we have the Drake Throat, like I said, adds the thunder damage. This activates the hat and the glove conditions. And then there's the Sentinel Shield and the Awareness Bow. Since we use shields, we get more armor class. Obviously, that's important. But this shield is amazing because the initiative bonus and the Awareness Bow you get really early on. That gives you an initiative bonus. But boom, we have a lot of initiative, and I very much care about initiative, especially in honor mode. So just some notes. We'll just wrap it up real quick. I'm going to go ahead and actually show you a little clip from my character. This was actually in the run. While I go over some notes here, you can actually see this guy in the background. So basically, when I started, I went Druid 1 and then Wizard 4 because I wanted to get Polearm Mastery at level 5, right? I also then respect at level 6 like this. I got Sorcery first, then Druid 1. And remember, Wizard has to be level, your final class added into the multi-class to use Intelligence. So this allowed me to use Polearm Mastery by level 5, have the extra 2 attacks. But by level 6, I was able to have Armor of Agathis and upcast it a decent amount. Because all of these are caster levels, they come together really nicely, right? So when you're battling, you want to use Shillelagh before battle. You want to use the Booming Blade cantrip, and then you go into the Polearm bonus action, right? Then we have Haste. You get to do the same thing, but I literally went boom, boom, and then the bonus. This was tons of fun. Chat saw me just getting maniacal after having tons of fun playing this way. So I really can just make this build very simple. You just cast Armor of Agathis. Make sure you cast Shillelagh before battle or the first turn of battle, and then you can just haste, or even without haste, you get 2 attacks. So just tons of attacking. And the great thing is, well, everybody always asks me about spell versatility, spell variety on a wizard, what makes them so good. It's the spell versatility. You can prepare so many spells. Looking on the video behind us, we have the shield reactions, we have counter spell and whatnot. So I really don't have all the time to explain why these are so good, but these are just my highlights that I literally 100% used throughout this run to make more arcane ward stacks, but also get another benefit, and otherwise just have wizard versatility. There's so many good spells available to a wizard, and you can swap them on the fly like I'm showing here in the background. I love this multi-class. I highly recommend it. This was the surprise of the run. This always happens. One of the 4 turns into the most surprising, silliest, craziest part of the run. And I love Pact of the Staff, where I can just focus in on one stat, which is Intelligence, single ability dependence. And I love Polearm Mastery now that they fixed it, because you can do a lot with it, and you don't have to be a fighter to get extra attacks. You get to feel like a battle mage, and the more you ramp up by attacking, the more you can drop some powerful spells, like Slow, or Hold Person, or Chain Lightning. So wizards are just awesome because of all the spells and the versatility. Reverb and Acuity combo with the hat and the gloves is stupid. This isn't the first time I've done this. It's one of the best combos you can use, and it's just fun to see it on a new, useful way. And then Arcane Synergy, same thing with the Pact of the Staff. I love this. Synergy in general with all the things I'm playing here. I just don't have all the time to nerd out and explain it all to you. And the wards, turns out, Abjuration is a really fun and strong subclass. There's tons of other ways to play it, I'm sure. I want to see you end up playing it your way. Personally, this is why I do these videos. I love playing this stuff. If you want to see how I played it, though, I'll drop some older videos in the comments, but specifically we just wrapped up Tavern Brawler Monk. I make these recap build videos because I want to see what you can come up with. I want you to come join the live stream, show whatever crazy thing we came up with to beat honor mode legit, or just some, casually have some fun. But I just want you to ask questions, and I'll answer them in the chat or the comments section, because you guys are my sponsors, and I thank you so much for watching and requesting these videos and supporting the channel for $1 a month on YouTube. Seriously, that means a lot to me. But the best support is thanks for being here, and I want to see you go get your golden dice, so go play an Abjuration Wizard.